Hey guys, welcome back to Coming Soon, the new and improved version. On this show, we talk about the upcoming releases and we rate them according to our anticipation level. I'm Amy Rose. I'm your host on this journey. Here to kick things off, I would like to introduce my wonderful panel, starting with Mr. Mark Ellis.
Yeah, you know, I was going to wear a Star Wars shirt today, but then I was like, who would do that?
Continuing on, the wonderful David Griffin.
I don't know why Mark's hating over there, because Star Wars is the best, and I believe Maude may agree with me.
The lovely Maude Garrett.
I don't know what your problem is, Ellis. Why would you bring that up? It's like we're both wearing Star Wars shirts, and this is a joke that you're making.
Starting things off with a little hostility in the corner. All right, guys, going to tell you about our rating system once again. Starting with number 1, not too interested in it. Number 2, you're curious, but you'll probably take your time to see it. Number 3, you're seeing it. 4, opening weekend, you're pretty damn excited. And number 5, nothing could hold you back from seeing this immediately. You're going to camp out. So starting with our first title for the week, The Age of Adeline. This one stars Blake Lively, Harrison Ford, and Ellen Burstyn. It focuses on a young woman born at the turn of the 20th century who is rendered ageless after an accident. After years of a solitary life, she meets a man who might be worth losing her immortality for. So starting with you, Ellis. 1, not interested. 5, camp out. Where do you stand?
You know, this sounds like one of those movies where it's like, oh, there's a magical mailbox where I can go 2 years back in time, or there's a magical closet, or I can keep repeating Groundhog Day until I meet my true love. This would have been a 2 for me. I would have been curious about this, nothing more. And then you give me the cast involved. Now that Harrison Ford's in it, even a little bit, I'll give it a 3. And I'm going to get this all the way to opening weekend. I am a 4 at this movie because I'm really interested to see the young man, Anthony Gruber, who plays the young Harrison Ford in this film. And he's rumored for maybe, if he's good in this, he could be Han Solo in a Star Wars spinoff, because here's the ruse. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I have tons of Star Wars shirts. They're all dirty because I wear them so much. That's why I couldn't wear one today. So that's why I'm an opening weekend 4 for Age of Adeline.
Way to clean that up, because Han Solo didn't want you to see Age of Adeline because you dissed Star Wars. So
that was the best backpedal I've ever seen, by the way.
Pretty strong backpedal.
We ended up insulting everyone and then took it all back in one swift movement.
We don't know what to believe anymore. All right, David, 1 to 5.
I'm definitely a 3 on this. This looks very interesting. I'm excited to see what Blake Lively can do. Not only is she gorgeous, but she's also married to Green Lantern, a.k.a. Deadpool.
Did you have to say
Ryan
Green
Reynolds.
Lantern?
You know, the movie wasn't it's not a great movie, but it's not the worst movie. And I really like it.
pretty bad.
I'm with
Now,
you.
and I'm curious about the whole immortality thing or not aging. I mean, first off, if I was going to come back, or if I was a girl, and I could stay forever young, I would first love to be either Amy Rose or Maude. That'd be my first choice. But if I had a third choice, I would be Blake Lively, because she is just beautiful. And so I'm curious about that. And plus Harrison Ford's in it. Mikael Husman, which I'm sure I'm butchering his name, from Game of Thrones, is in it as well. And she's being, you know, she has options. She can go with Harrison Ford. She can go with Mikael. That girl just has it made. I'm seeing it.
I give you a 5 for all that commentary right there.
Yeah.
Miss Maude, where do you stand?
This feels like it's borrowing a lot from Benjamin Button. It's like the kind of thing where the aging process is stunted or unnatural or going reverse or halting altogether, and it affects relationships and growing forward and growing old with someone or growing young with someone. I do like that we're seeing Blake Lively back again. Can she pull off this role? You are so right. She is stunning, and you see her morphing through the years. It's like a decade by decade look at the fashions and how she evolves with that, which would be great if it's a fashion campaign. But this is a movie with a lot of story behind it. So at face value, this could work. But to really enjoy her as a character, I think that there's a lot that she has to provide. And I want to know if she can pull it off. So I'm sitting at a 4. But yeah, look, most of this is because of Mikael Husman. Husman, my man! He's beautiful. He's on Orphan Black. He's on Game of Thrones. He's just delightful. So I would like to see it opening weekend.
Hormones are flying over here right now. I'm sitting at a 3. I'm seeing it. The premise is whatever to me. I also agree, Blake Lively. There's a lot of gorgeous people and amazing people. This cast is stacked. But the premise itself could be interesting, but she seems like she's just going with her immortality and wasting it, where you could cure cancer. You could do a lot of amazing things, but she's just, you know, sad and has to go through life alone. And it just looks kind of mopey opposed to like being a badass strong woman. So like, again, the trailers aren't hooking me, but I do think she has talent. She kind of always plays the same character, but I don't mind looking at her. I really don't. So I think that maybe she will prove that there's a lot more dimension to the characters we've seen, and this could be the one. She's definitely has a lot of great support around her. So yeah, I'm curious. I'm seeing it. I'm gonna merge the two a little bit.
I'm glad this power wasn't wasted on a plain Jane, you know, on somebody who's just like
Right.
kind of good looking or somebody who's not attractive. I'm glad if you got to stay young forever, you better be looking like Blake Lively, you know, make it worth our while.
Yeah, life's so hard. I'm so gorgeous.
But that's the thing. There's one part in the trailer where the police officer pulls her aside. It's like, oh, so hold on, you're 45, and she's like, yeah. It's like, oh, 'cause that's the worst thing in the world, to look as gorgeous as you are and get complimented every day of your life.
And then Ellen Burstyn's your daughter. I mean, things
Yeah.
could be worse. Things are looking up for Lively. All right, moving on to Brotherly Love. Set on the backdrop of Philadelphia's famed Overbrook High School, we track the lives of the nation's #1 high school basketball player, Sergio Taylor, as he deals with the early pressures of hood fame. Jamal Hill directed this one. It stars Keke Palmer, Corey Hardick, and Romeo Miller. So, Maud, let's start with you. 1 to 5.
The vibe I'm getting from this is that it looks like it's supposed to be sort of like a telemovie, like a straight to DVD kind of theme. I feel that in the trailer they give away almost everything, and it's like there's a checklist of cliches that they are just ticking off like very, very well. There's the NBA star. The girl is all of a sudden a pop star as well. Like she's doing a demo recording. I just feel like the alcoholic mother. There's the broken family. It's like tick, 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 tick. You're telling this story that I've seen like 17 different times in 17 different ways, all compiled together. Macy Gray, though, being the drunk mother, I think that is a perfect casting. She is fantastic. I'd love to see her try out this acting a little bit more than the singing style. But every time I've met her, like, I'm pretty sure this is like she's spot on for this role.
So not much acting? Is that what you're telling?
Is she hammered every time you interview
Or
her?
is she an incredible actor and just doesn't, switch off because she's not breaking role? Not too sure. But I think for this one, I'm going to give it. I'm curious about it, but I'm still sitting at a 2 for this one.
All right, David?
I am gonna give this a 1. But the one saving graces for me is I'm not sure if it's Keke or Keke Palmer.
Keke.
Yeah, she is fantastic. She was in Masters of Sex, and she had to stand toe to toe with Michael Sheen in several scenes, and she held her own. She's young. I think she's only like maybe 22 or something like that. I think she could be a future star. I hope maybe she gets bigger roles later, because I think she's actually going to be a rising star. She's the one saving grace this movie for me.
Ellis?
There's a few saving graces in this film, namely the fact that it's about high school basketball. I love basketball. I love anything that has a Hoop Dreams feel to it, even if this doesn't take a cue from that. That documentary got robbed. That should have been nominated for Best Documentary of the Year. It came out. I don't think that Brotherly Love is going to be that, but at least this isn't the Brotherly Love with Joey Lawrence and his brother from the Disney Channel from the 90s. So that's another good thing. I'm going to see this because I'm so excited about the basketball element of it, but I think that it's probably going to be forgettable in the long run. I'll see it in the theater, though.
What did you say your score was?
3.
3. Cool. I do have a soft spot for sports dramas. They're kind of my favorite ever because there's just something that goes into having that kind of dedication and perseverance and teamwork and everything about it. I mean, it's really amazing, the story. So I'm going to give it a 2 because I am curious. I do think that Masters of Sex is a great show. And Michael Sheen is a force on the big screen. So to stand toe-to-toe against him, that says a lot. So I think this sounds very interesting, and I'm in with your Macy Gray comment. So it's just maybe getting near a 3. Who knows by the end of the show? All right, moving on to Little Boy. An 8-year-old boy is willing to do whatever it takes to end World War II so he can bring his father home. The story reveals the indescribable love a father and little boy have for each other. Alejandro Monteverde directed this one. Kevin James, he's back. Emily Watson and Michael Rappaport. So David, let's start with you. 1, not interested. 5, you're camping out. Where is your anticipation?
I'm curious, but I have a question. Do you believe you can do this? Do you believe you can do this? Do you believe you can do this?
I think I can.
This movie looks like it's going to be tugging on some emotional heartstrings. I'm just not sure about if I want to see that. I just don't like when they do that. We were talking about WALL-E here a little earlier. Talking about Disney's WALL-E. I think that's an awesome movie. I didn't expect to cry in WALL-E. I cried.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to. This movie looks like it's saying, like, when you see this movie, if you don't cry, you don't have a heart. And I don't know. I think I'm already rejecting it ahead of time because of that. So
I pretty much teared up in the trailer alone. I felt with my feelings during this
What are
movie.
those?
They're right in here. That was so much fun. And I think this is a great period piece. This is definitely one for the family and everyone else at the same time. I didn't flinch seeing Kevin James in this because I think that this is the kind of role that Kevin should be playing. It is a little tongue-in-cheek. It's got a lot of character behind it, but it's not like just cheesy, predictable kind of script. This looked like a lot of fun. I am going to see it opening weekend, and I'm going to bring my tissues for happy tears.
Happy tears. Ellis?
I'm curious. It's going to be a 2 for me. I just felt like it was so trying to tug on my heartstrings. Like I can't stand when you make it that obvious. It's going to hook me. If I see the film, it's going to get me. I mean, you got a father who's off at war who it didn't seem like he was expecting to have to go off to war because he leaves his young son behind, and his young son now apparently is a Jedi Knight because he loves his dad just that much. It might make me tear up, but the acting seemed a little overwrought to me in the trailer. It just seemed like they were trying so hard. It's like, hey, let's all sit around a boardroom and figure out ways we can make everybody cry. I know, World War I. Let's do magic powers. Let's do that too. Father, son. Father's got to go off to war. This is perfect. Everybody's going to weep. Kleenex stock is going to go through the roof, but
Do you need a hug?
it's a 2. I need a lot of things.
I think
need a
everything
lot of
about
things.
that formula is it's perfect for me. Like I want to cry happy tears. I want to feel.
I want tears of joy, damn it.
I want Disney monkeys.
I'm a 3. We know he wants monkeys. Back to the monkeys.
Yes.
3, seeing it. There's something about World War II. I think I talked about this last show. It's just where the world was at. The Alliance is it's a fascinating time in history to me. So already I'm kind of peaked. It has kind of a Life is Beautiful vibe to it, obviously. But I don't think he's going, I mean, he's no Roberto Benigni, of course, but I think that this has all the recipe to be good. I also agree, though, I don't want it to go for every cliche in the book to, emotional tear now and, just like to have that formula. But I think there's enough meat there in the story that it could definitely be those happy tears you want, Maude, and I'm happy to buy the popcorn for us, okay?
Yay. It's
All
a
right.
date.
It's a date. All right, moving on to our last film of the week, The Water Diviner. An Australian man travels to Turkey after the Battle of Gallipoli to try and locate his 3 missing sons. Russell Crowe, this is his directorial debut, so already I'm pretty fascinated with this. Stars, though, Jai Courtney, Olga Kurylenko, and Russell Crowe. So I'm going to lead this one off. This one has premiered to a couple film festivals already. I have not caught it yet. I just think Russell Crowe is a force to be reckoned with. He is not afraid to tackle these really difficult roles. He was in one of my favorite films of all time, still Gladiator. I mean, he can do anything. And there's a lot of actors that want to step behind the lens and you're like, okay, here's another one. But Russell Crowe has such care with his career and such details with every role he completely becomes that I think that's going to translate really well to behind the lens. So I'm going to give this one a 4 opening weekend. It doesn't have a 5 because Jai Courtney's in it. And I think Jai Courtney is not a great actor. And I'm sure he's a great human being, but he overacts just breathing. It's exhausting. But Crow is great. Olga Kurylenko is great. And I'm mostly curious with what Russell's going to do. And it's, again, another history piece. So I'm pretty fascinated with that. David?
I'm curious. I'm gonna give it a 2. I love Olga. I know we talk about a lot of ladies lately, but I love Olga. She's great. She's my Wonder Woman for me. Next to Alexandra Daddario. Those are my top 2. No offense. But I mean, I love Olga, so she's good. I also like it seems like there's going to be a relationship between this Turkish, I don't know if he's the bad guy or some dictator, some military guy who was killing a lot of people. And it seems like they have this moment where they bond over their sons. And he's like, I'm looking for my sons. And what's the first thing you're going to say if you find your sons again? And again, like the little boy talking about a father and his sons. That's definitely some good emotion there. And it's Russell Crowe, so I'm definitely curious.
My dear?
Well, as an Australian, this movie is pretty much I'm gonna understand it a lot more than anyone else at this table. Like the story of Gallipoli is something that Australians really, really know and recognise, especially around Anzac Day, which is commemorating the memorial service of those people that did join into the wars. Russell Crowe is definitely tailoring himself to do roles where he is a father, and he is in real life. And I think taking the father role really resonates on screen. We saw it in Noah. I didn't like Noah, not even a little bit. Yeah, I just wasn't a fan of that movie at all. But the underlying theme was, he had to prolong the world, but he almost sacrificed his family in doing so. Now here he's sacrificing everything for his family. So I think that he's doing a really great job by being the man that he is. Like, he's growing up in front of our eyes, and he is an old, he's a father now. So I like to see that. You're right though, Jai Courtney. He's butchering an Australian accent, and he's Australian. But I do love hearing. I think this is a real testament to the fact that I've been in America for over 2 years. I heard this trailer, and I was so homesick because I'm hearing a genuine Australian accent throughout it all, and I was just like, oh, this is just for me. It looks stunning. The cinematography looks
beautiful,
incredible, sweeping landscapes. You're seeing the outback. I, by default, have to give it a 4 as an Australian. So I will watch it opening weekend.
Pride. I feel it. Ellis?
Well, like Noah, this film is also inspired by real events. So I think that what Russell Crowe is able to do with him directing himself is a very intriguing premise to me, especially when you consider Jai Courtney and Olga Kurylenko are in this too. I want to see how he directs them. Like, you guys all hate Jai Courtney because he's either way too stiff or he overacts it way too much. But seeing Russell Crowe, seeing what a fellow thespian and a master at that can do with them, that's the most intriguing part of this film to me. So I'm going to give it a 3. I'm seeing it.
Let's back up. Do you like Jai Courtney?
I like him.
I don't care enough about him yet to like or dislike him. I don't think he was the reason why Die Hard 5 wasn't good. And I don't think he's the reason why Insurgent isn't great. Like, I just think he's just there. He hasn't had a chance to show me anything else yet.
He's getting movie after movie. He's booking. He's owning Hollywood at the moment. So good on him. No tall poppy syndrome here. He is doing well. Go, buddy.
Wah, wah. All right, guys, we're going to end it right here. Thanks so much for joining us for another AMC Coming Soon. I would like to thank my wonderful panel, starting with Mark Ellis. Where can people find you online?
5150 Ellis on Twitter and at Instagram. And I'll be in Erie, Pennsylvania at Junior's Last Laugh Comedy Club, April 23rd through the 25th. So if you remember the name of that club, you should go.
And bring him a monkey stuffed animal, and he'll love you forever. David Griffin, thanks for coming back.
Thank you. At GriffinDE on Twitter. Definitely go see Mark's show. He's a funny guy.
Maud Garrett.
I'm on all social medias. Just look up at Maud Garrett, and I'm also on Jedi Council. Speaking of, where did the Inquisitor go?
Weird.
He was there at the beginning of the show. I don't know what happened.
Weird. Cybernatural. And I'm Amy Rose with AMC Movie News. You can find me at Amy Rosie on the various channels. Subscribe, you know the deal, and get in those comments. We want to hear what movies out of the ones we mentioned you're most excited for, and go ahead and assign your own rating. That's all part of the fun. We'll see you next week, guys. Thanks.